Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to my show, High Road to Humanity. In every episode, I tell you powerful true stories filled with great wisdom that you can use in your own life as you strive for a higher road to travel. My featured guests will have their own unique stories to tell that enlighten your mind and your soul. So kick back, relax, and learn the secret to success when you take the high road.
First touch, strong connection, it lays deep in your soul.
Computer. Hi, this is Nancy Yearout, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And I've got a special guy here today. Dave Weiss is here, and we are going to talk about the flat earth. And what do you think about that, you guys? This is going to be really interesting. So remember to share the show and, of course, subscribe to the channel. A couple things I want to say before I bring Dave on. A couple things that just I had to mention that's going on with humanity right now. And this is the headline. Panama warns of looming Haitian migrant wave, tens of thousands on the way. What do you think about this? Here we go. Nearly 30,000 Haitian migrants have already made their way over the U.S.-Mexico border in recent weeks, but Panama's foreign minister says far more are on their way, and she has been sounding the alarm for months. So in a new interview with Axios Foreign Minister Erica, I guess it's Moines, said that since the beginning of 2021, more than 85,000, you guys, Haitians have crossed through Panama. And she believes they are all heading towards the U.S. We've engaged with every single authority that we can think of, that we can come across to say, please, let's pay attention to this. Moines told the outlet, the Haitians have been coming from Colombia, traveling through the dangerous Darien Gap jungles into Panama before making their way northward through Central America and Mexico to the U.S. Moines said senior officials from South America countries, Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. met in August to address the issue, and she thought it was shocking that this had not happened sooner. It goes on to say that she also met with members of Congress and DHS and of Homeland Security for comment, but it did not immediately respond. Okay, so we've got a lot of Haitians coming into the U.S., and you guys need to pay attention because they're coming into your neighborhoods. So we need to say something about this, you guys. Time to stand up, time to use your voice. The other thing I want to mention really quick, in Honolulu, it looks like there's a volcano erupting right now. I thought that was kind of crazy, and it says it's creating a lot of smoke, and so that's going on right now in Hawaii, and I just wanted to bring that to people's attention. It says there's no homes in the area of the eruption, but it's spewing, you guys. It's let's see, the fog is air pollution from a mix of volcanic gases and oxygen. Okay, so do you have anything to say about any of that, Dave?
It's amazing that the Haitians don't stop in Panama because there's so many Americans fleeing to Panama at this point. I don't know why they're coming here when they should just stay in Panama, which is looking very attractive.
I think they get free money cards, and they get to go
money cards and phones.
Yeah, the whole bit.
Yeah.
I should be Haitian. Okay. Dave Weiss is a businessman who walked away from his own very successful company. We're going to hear his story, you guys, to pursue spreading the truth about our world. He's the host of the Flat Earth podcast and creator of the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. He has the amazing ability to tell anyone from from ridiculing the idea of a flat earth to the mind-blowing understanding that we don't live on a spinning, wobbling, rocketing water ball in an infinite vacuum. He also shows you why this topic is the most important topic of these troubled times. Welcome to High Road to Humanity, Dave.
Hey, thanks, Nancy. And you, before the show, you were saying your journey was, which is the same as every flat earther. It's crazy. You're nuts. I'm not looking into this. Then you're forced to look, and you're like, oh my God, it's undeniable. Right. So once you have the courage to look, and I was that way. I did a podcast, a conspiracy podcast, and all of our fans, it was a big podcast out of New York City called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. And then people started sending me, hey Dave, have you looked into flat earth? And at first I'm like, haha, it's funny, and then they kept sending it and posting more stuff, and I would just ban them from our social media. And then I think I even made comments like, please don't listen to our podcast anymore, And then I was forced to look, and I went in with a closed mind, not an open mind like you. I went in, I'm going to just prove the globe and show you guys how idiotic you are. And every single proof that I had programmed in my head works either on both or proves flat Earth. Like seasons prove the Earth is flat. People think that seasons prove the Earth is a globe, but they actually prove the Earth is flat.
Why?
Okay, let's get it. We'll go into that first.
Yes. Why?
So they teach us that we're on this tilted ball, and when we're tilted away from the sun, the sun rays spread over and they're spread out, and that's why we have our winter, right? Do you remember that? Bill Nye the Lion Guy taught us that. And that's and then during our, where are you? You're in the north. You're in America.
I'm in New Mexico.
You're in New Mexico. Well, here I'm in Connecticut, and it's freezing up here in Connecticut in the winter. Do you know that during our northern winter, we're like 3 to 5 million miles closer to the sun than we are in our winter?
Oh, wow. Okay.
That in the helio-nonsensical BS model, that is. Okay. So we're closer. So think about this. It's the tilt away from the sun. Well, can you tilt the ball to the left, to the right, forward? Any way you turn a ball, you're tilting it. You're tilting it in relation to something else. So at sunrise, what's the tilt of the ball compared for the angle off the sun? It's 89 degrees when it first shows up on the horizon. It's 90 degrees is on the horizon. 91 degrees would be below the horizon on a ball, right? So at sunrise in June 21st on the solstice, the sun is at the most severe tilted angle. It's 3 to 5 million miles farther from us than it would be in the winter. And I could feel as soon as I see the sun on the horizon, I could feel the heat on my face. I could feel the summer sun. Within a couple of minutes, I could take off my shirt and lay down on the grass and have a nap, whatever. Then 6 months later, in December on the solstice, December 21st, I can go out at solar noon when the sun is at the highest point in the sky. Let's say it's 50 degrees, right? Whatever it is, the highest point, it's 3 to 5 million miles closer than it was in June. And I can't even feel the heat on my face here.
Why is that?
Because it's a lie. The whole thing is a lie. Let me show you. Well,
And how do we have seasons? I don't understand.
All right,
how do we have seasons? Explain this to me.
I'm gonna bring up my app and show you, because this is what it's for.
Okay, right. Cool.
So can you see? You can see my app, right? So the sky is a perfect clock. The hour hand is the sun. Wherever the sun is, it's noon. Okay, the sun keeps track of the hours and the days. The moon and its position, if I speed it up, the moon and its position keeps track, its phase and position keeps track of the weeks and the months.
Right.
They used to be called moons. There used to be 13 of them. They used to be 28 days each. The sun will lap the moon once every 28 days. Okay, so this is going to get right into seasons. Just hang with me. Okay. So as you can see, there's a waxing crescent, and now it's getting bigger and falling behind. And 28 times more around, the sun will have lapped the moon for a full moon cycle. So now I'm going to turn on the stars, and the stars are spinning also. They're in a fixed positions. They're going just slightly faster than the sun, so slightly that it takes 365 times around for the stars to lap the sun. So right now, the sun is in this constellation right here, and this constellation is going to slowly outrun the sun in about a month, and then it's going to move into Capricorn, and then Capricorn will slowly outrun, and that way the sun will look like it's fading backwards in through all the zodiacs, but the zodiacs are just outrunning it. Next year, same day, same time, all the stars will reset. They'll be exactly where they are in the sky as they were today. And, that also proves that we're not spinning. So now let me explain the seasons. You see, you have 3 circles on here. The inner one is the Tropic of Cancer. You've heard that, Tropic of Cancer. I know that. Right. That's when we have our summer.
Right.
And the outer one is the Tropic of Capricorn, and the red line in the middle is the equator. The sun migrates in between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Equator, Tropic of Capricorn every 6 months. If I jump forward to December, the sun is out on the Tropic of Capricorn, and Australia is having their summer. Okay. So imagine this. You and I are sitting outside. You come up to visit me here in Connecticut in February, and it's freezing cold, and you hate it. And we're sitting outside 10, 20 feet apart. and it's freezing. It's below freezing. And then somebody comes over and holds a huge heat lamp 10 feet above your head. You look up and you're like, that's your summer sun. It's high in the sky and you're warm and it's high in your sky. I look at that heat lamp. It's over there and I could barely feel the heat. That's my winter sun. Now, if that person moved that heat lamp without lowering it over my head, it would get higher above me and it would get lower to you due to perspective and distance.
Okay.
Right? So right now, the way on the map here, Australia is having their summer. We're having our winter because up here in Connecticut, the sun's pretty far away. But 6 months later, the sun will move all the way into the Tropic of Cancer. Australia is having their winter because the sun is farther away, farther lower, less heat, shorter days.
Okay.
And we're having our summer. The inner north is having its summer because the sun is close. The sun goes right over Miami, goes right over Mexico and Southern California, right? It's hot in June then because the sun is high above you and close.
Right.
The whole tilted idea is just absolutely ridiculous. You follow that?
No, I'm following you. I'm following you. I'm watching it.
You got to really think about it. And think about this. The Arctic is the inner. The north has the Arctic. The south has the Antarctic. What's the sun doing to anyone standing here inside of the Tropic of Cancer? The sun is arcing around them. It's arcing around them. Right?
That's why it's always so cold there.
Well,
Is that why it stays cold there, Dave? Because
hold on. Let me finish this point, and you're half right. Let me explain. So It's arcing around you. Anybody outside of the Tropic of Capricorn is in the Antarctic. Antarctic. The sun is antarcing away from them. It's not arcing around them. If you're on the outside, it's not arcing around you. So you have the Antarctic and the Arctic. They're telling us what's going on, right?
Oh my God.
They would both be the same if we lived on a ball. The sun in December would arc around you,
right,
closer to you in the south, but it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that.
So Dave, I'm going to stop you because we're going to go to commercial break because we're doing the podcast too. You guys, This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Dave Weiss. He's teaching us about the flat earth. This is High Road to Humanity. We'll be right back. This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Dave Weiss. Some people call him the Flat Earth Dave. And I love that. Thank you, Flat Earth Dave. I love it. Thanks for coming and explaining. Okay, so you were explaining about the seasons. Please continue on.
So in the winter, again, let me. I'm gonna share the screen again just because the visual really helps.
Do whatever. Yeah.
So when you're in the inner north, the sun is the closest the sun gets to you is this yellow line, the Tropic of Cancer. So that's why it's pretty cold up here. But Norway and Alaska, they have their summer. The sun gets pretty close. But when the sun goes all the way out to Capricorn, it's so far away from the inner north that it's freezing, that the sun doesn't even rise in those really northern spots. Anything inside that Arctic Circle has, no sun at all for weeks at a time.
Okay.
The colder place is Antarctica, because when the sun goes all the way into the Tropic of Cancer, it's so far away from Antarctica that it's super freezing. Antarctica is the coldest place on Earth. They claim it's so cold that, you can't even fly over it, which is nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So
what really pushed you over the edge, I guess? I mean, you did a lot of research, obviously. Well, no, I'm just curious, because let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
Growing up, my dad worked for General Electric. He's no longer with us, and he worked on the space program. And I remember him bringing home little modules, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. And we all watched the rocket go up, and we all watched this. I mean, what's the purpose? Why go through the exercise?
Why the line?
Yeah. Why go through?
Let's talk about that. The moon mission.
Yeah.
The moon mission. If you're NASA, you need to, you want to build this Atlas rocket, whatever, and you need to go out to other companies to build parts. You figure you go out to 10, 20, 50, 100, 1,000 different companies to get the parts made. NASA went to 100,000 companies. Everybody made a part somebody. This way, somebody like you, Nancy, could say, my father worked on this part. He made this. There's people that make satellites. There's people that make doors. There's people that make the hinges and the seats, and they send them to NASA and they think they went to space, but nobody has ever been to space because space doesn't exist like they tell us. It's a total impossible, scientifically impossible fantasy. And we'll get into, let's wait to the last segment. Why the lie? This is the most important lie that the elite have. It's how they control us.
Well, it is a control thing. No, it just amazes me. Well, and I don't know, continue on and I'll ask you questions as we go.
I mean, you asked me what was one of the things that convinced me. And one of them was, when I started looking into this, there was all these things about boats going over the horizon. I'm like, wait, boats go over the horizon. And then I saw these videos like, wait a minute, you zoom in and a boat that apparently went over the horizon comes back into view. Well, then it can't go over the horizon, because if it went over the horizon, you wouldn't be able to zoom it back into view. And then, so I went and I bought a $1,000 camera, a tripod, and I zoomed in on a buoy that should have been 60 feet under the curve, and I could see the buoy. And not only could I see the buoy, I could see the surface of the water beyond the buoy. Okay. These things are impossible on a ball. They tell us the radius of the Earth is just short of 4,000 miles. The distances that we can see would need a radius of over 250,000 miles. Okay? If the Earth was a ball, the distances that we see, besides all the other impossibilities of it being a ball, we would need a radius, 250,000 miles versus 4,000.
What about airplanes? Like, don't the pilots know this? Because
yes, they do. Most of them do. Lots of them do.
They'd have to.
Well, no, they don't have to. They're glorified bus drivers. They take off and land the plane, and the GPS flies them. All of the flights. But Qantas, it's the Southern pilots that really matter. And the Qantas pilots, they say they all know. They talk about it amongst themselves, but they don't talk about it publicly, because they will lose their jobs. Here's an example. Qantas is out of Australia. So if you wanted to go from Australia to Santiago, the shortest trip, if the Earth was a ball, would just be straight across the bottom of the globe, right? Mm-hmm. Right across the bottom. Mm-hmm. But they don't do that. They go all the way up in the northern hemisphere, all the way across, and all the way back down. Why do they do that? Right? And if you look at it on a flat Earth map, it's pretty much a straight line.
Oh my God.
Okay. And these flights, and never is there somebody going from one place in the north to another where they dip into the south and come up. Any flights from two northern locations will always, without exception, stay in the north. Any flight in southern locations that are going to distant southern lands will go into the north. And that's because, that's because this is how the world is set up. Like, for example, here's a flight from Argentina to India. Okay. Why doesn't it just fly across Africa? Right. It goes all the way up here to make a stop. Right.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
And that's because this is it on a flat Earth.
Oh my God.
Right. Here's and then NASA's in charge of all radar, GPS, and international flight plans. So they've got total control over what's going on, right? And the GPS is closed source information. It's not open source. It should be, but it's all made up nonsense. But sometimes there's emergency landings that have to happen. And there was one where it stopped in Seattle.
Okay.
Does that say Seattle?
It
says
does.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Right. From Hawaii to New York, but Seattle is a straight line from Hawaii to New York. Right? Take another one. We got Dallas to Beijing with an emergency landing in Calgary. Why Calgary? Well, Calgary's right on a straight line.
There.
This happens again and again and again. We got London to Islamabad in Pakistan, emergency stop in Moscow. Moscow's right on that straight line. But notice they don't go into the south. This just stays in the north. Right? Northern flights, stay in the north. Southern flights cut up in the north. Ridiculous. Well, Chicago
Can I ask you something? What about satellites?
Yeah.
What about satellites? I mean, how does that not to get crazy or anything, but they put the satellites up there and we can see them.
Have you ever?
We see something up there flashing. So what is that, Dave?
Yeah, so this is what they tell us is going on in above the earth. This is ridiculous. This is
Okay,
the dumbest
okay.
thing ever. Okay,
Okay.
this is absolute insanity. Think about this. The 747 is pretty big. You've seen a 747. You've probably been on one. They're gigantic. It's about the same size as the International Space Station. You ever see a 747 flying at cruising altitude? It's a tiny little dot that you can barely see in the sky, right? It's the
Okay.
size of maybe a pencil eraser held at arm's length,
Okay.
right? Right? If you doubled the height, could you see it? Of a 747? The answer is absolutely not.
Probably not, yeah.
Absolutely not. You can scientifically prove that its angular size would be too small. Well, the space station, which is the same size, that I've seen that light go across the sky that they tell us is the space station, it's 50 times higher. 50 times higher. How the hell am I seeing a light brighter than any star in the sky zip across at 50 times height? That's impossible. Satellites, maybe the size of a Volkswagen Bug, are even higher.
Yeah, the house.
And
So
we can
what are
see
we
them with our-
seeing? Right. So what are we seeing?
Anything above our head, the only thing that we could absolutely say is that they're lights. We don't know what they are. Are they natural phenomena? Are they aircraft? I believe that, we had a whistleblower, can't confirm anything, but he's saying that the International Space Station is a series of 5 modified B-52 bombers or whatever, some modified bombers that are covered with LED lights on the bottom and then has transparent parts of the wings and stuff to make it look like the ISS. And they take turns flying in different areas. But if you, again, take the time, do the math, and calculate, like if I see the ISS flying over me, it might take 8 minutes to go over me. I'm like, 8 minutes at 17,000 miles an hour, it should be in California, but why I'm still seeing it, and the people in California can't see it. Okay? That proves that it is a closer object moving slower than they're telling us. And again, they don't teach us to think like this in school. They teach us to memorize and regurgitate nonsense, right? And so think about the satellites. The satellites are falling around the Earth, right? They're not held on. They're falling at the same rate as the curvature of the Earth. That's what they tell us. Did you know that that's what an orbit is? Okay. So if you have a satellite that's geostationary over wherever you are, wherever I am, whatever, it's got to match the spin of the Earth and just stay over it, matching that spin while the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour, chasing the sun at over 500,000 miles per hour. And somehow
this
these
makes sense. This doesn't make sense, Dave.
This is helio-nonsensical BS model, I call it. So just to give you an idea of how fast that is, this is the hypersonic sled. Just watch it. I wish you could hear it, but you can't. You can just Google it and find it. Did you see that thing go by Mach 8.6?
Oh my God,
Watch again.
awesome.
Mach 8.6. So friggin' fast that it's like you can't even see it. You have to believe that we're orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that, and we're chasing the sun in a spiral, an elliptical orbit, speeding up and slowing down 90 times faster than that. 90, okay? And we have lakes that look like this.
Crazy. Hey, we got to go to commercial break.
All right.
When we come back, we're going to talk more with Dave Weiss. This is Nancy Earl. This is High Road to Humanity, and we'll be right back. Hi, this is Nancy Earl. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here today with Dave Weiss. He is talking to us about the flat Earth. Dave, I guess I want to get to the bottom line because I have so many questions for you, but why have the people who are in charge done this to us? What is the situation here? Why would they lie to us? What would be the benefit to lie to us? I don't understand.
I know that you're interested in Tartaria and stuff like that. What's the benefit of hiding the advanced civilization that was here in the past? It's all about control. It's all about control. Everything that you have in your life is because you brought it into your life with your thoughts, the power of your mind. They don't want us to know that we're
we can create.
that we can create. And they put us in a prison. They put us in, like, hey, this is it. This is all that there is. And we're running out of everything. And, there's so much to be afraid of. And that seriously limits your ability to manifest. If you can't even imagine past the borders of a globe, when in fact that maybe maybe we're in a situation where there's hundreds of other continents beyond Antarctica. Admiral Byrd flew out to Antarctica and said, there's land untouched, never seen by humans, that is bigger than the United States, filled with resources. Then all of a sudden we come up with the Antarctic Treaty. No one's allowed to go to Antarctica. Every country in the world eventually signs onto it. And it's the longest treaty in history. Please give me a break. With all of the wars for resources, this is absolute insanity to believe this. So why the lie? There's a ton of reasons. They're hiding our spirituality. They're hiding the creator. They're hiding free energy. They're hiding, who we truly are. The only power that people have over you is in your imagination, period. No other exceptions. That is it. If everyone got out of their little fantasy world, of space and space beings and all of this stuff, and just realized who you were and that no one has control of you, all of this tyranny would be over immediately. Done. Today. Not even tomorrow. Today.
Right. Now, Dave, I'm going to say something to you because I do this show for this reason. And God wins. And I know that people are waking up, and that's why I do the show. And I know you're awake, and look at what you've accomplished and look at what you've learned. And so there is going to be an end to this where people will wake up and we will realize, and the people in charge, I really believe, are not going to succeed. Tell me your feeling on this.
Yeah, I actually, that's why I do this. I mean, I had, I grew up in Fairfield County, and I went to, I worked in corporate America, and then I left corporate America. I started my own company. I'm the CEO of my own company. I created this world. It was amazing. I'm making more money than I ever thought. And then I asked God for a sign, and he's like, leave and do this. Right. And I was like, what? I have everything that everybody ever wanted. And I walked away, and the way I did it was I had created this app to help people learn about flat Earth. I actually made it for myself.
Okay,
so when I'm talking to people,
talk about the app. Okay.
So I made it for myself. So when I'm talking to people about flat Earth, I can show them pictures, images and stuff really quickly. And then everyone's like, oh, where do I get that? I'm like, well, it's not even available. So then I made it available. And then I started realizing, I could add this. I could add this. I could add this. 3 years later, I'm still working every night with my developer in India. I haven't slept in 3 years. And, and it's crazy, but the app, let me share it with you real quick. And I'll give you a 1 minute review of it. And everyone loves it. What I tell people is it's $3. Don't buy the app. Just go to the App Store and read the reviews, because then you'll buy it. All right. So
I love
every day there's a new video in the bottom corner, the featured video of the day. And I have a challenge for people that says, oh, flat Earth is stupid, don't breed. Well, unfortunately, flat Earthers are going to be probably the only ones that can breed in the future, because we're not getting this thing. Okay.
Right,
so who knows? Right. So the challenge is watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks. And if you still think the Earth is a globe, I'll pay you 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof. But before you do that, you have to hit this question mark, right? And the question mark will pull up the top 21 questions that you have. You say, hey, what about seasons, which we talked about earlier? Right. Click the seasons button, and up comes a playlist that Google doesn't want you to see. You won't find these videos easily, okay? But they're all here, all of that stuff. Under the web button, I have all other resources. Bottom right, your favorite, mud floods, Tataria, adding good videos there, all sorts of stuff. Another one,
the Bible too. When we get done with this, I want you to talk about that.
Yeah, look, if I hit the Bible, up comes a playlist of amazing videos. Amazing. Even if you're not a Bible person, and I wasn't at the beginning of this. So I wouldn't call myself a Bible person now, but now there's some stuff in the Bible. This stuff will blow your mind. Yeah. Right? My co-host, Matt Long, Woketown channel, he comes from the Bible side of the fence. Okay. And so
I want to see some of this. I think I'm going to do it so I can see some of this stuff, because you talk about, and I don't want to I know you're showing the app, but you talk about a lot of different references to the flat Earth in the Bible, which I think is
there's tons. It's endless. Page 1, Genesis, God separated the waters from the waters and created the firmament. Right? That's crazy. All right. So This is the most important thing on the app. Well, there's so much more to it. When you're talking to somebody, you can pull up all these images and GIFs, and you can show them stuff. People are like, oh, you believe we went to the moon? Yeah, we went to. Whoops.
I want to see that. Go back, Dave. If you guys are listening on the podcast, you're going to have to watch the YouTube video on this one because he's showing some really amazing pictures right now.
I got a little. This is a little test version. So look. People believe we went to the moon in that. Look at that thing. That's made from paper mache, tinfoil, curtain rods, Scotch tape, not even masking tape, maybe a little duct tape. Look at that.
How did you get these pictures, Dave?
This is straight from NASA's website, right?
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's so much stuff. We took a picture from Saturn from NASA's website, and then we put it in Photoshop, cranked it up, and we could see, look how crappily it was put together. They didn't even use Photoshop when they made that one.
Oh my God.
Right? You can see all of the stuff, right? So tons of stuff. And this is like when you're talking flat earther or just researching it for yourself, whether you're becoming a flat earther, you're interested in it, this is the way to do it. But people say, Brian Cox, I call Lying Box, he says nobody in history has ever believed in flat earth. He said nobody in history has ever believed in flat earth except every single culture before NASA, right? They all believed in flat earth. As a matter of fact, it's all the deception of the globe is less than 100 years old. They were teaching flat earth here in America in the 1920s. All right?
That's crazy.
But the newest feature on here, the little handshake, I hit it, up comes a map, and these are all the flat earthers near you. And you can you can look around, and if I click one of the dots, there's the person's name. I can click it, and I can send them a text message. Hey, you're only a couple miles from me. Let's get together for a beer.
Right.
And so this is changing everything. We have 22,000 people on it as the time of this recording, going up, 500 to 1,000 a day. And it's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. Okay, so I have a bunch of questions for you.
Yeah.
As you're an expert, and I've got about 4 minutes to go commercial break, and then we've got one more segment, but I want to know about some of this stuff. Okay, so let's rewind. So the people who are in charge don't want us to know that the earth is flat because it's a control thing, but I'm still not getting how would this benefit them by making us think it's round instead of flat. How does
it's not the shape, it's not the shape that matters. It's you knowing your true power. If you are if your foundation is living in fear, right? If you watch the news, you're living in fear, right? The news, they're steering your mind, north, east, west, south, news, okay? Right. They're steering you. And then also your foundation of your belief is that you're spinning in all those crazy directions, which I showed you. That's the foundation of your world. How well are you going to operate? Your thoughts are limited into this limited resource world, overpopulated, climate change, all of the stuff. Your ability to manifest is severely limited because you have so many broken tentacles of belief.
Okay, so that's the bottom line. It's they want to, and I get that. I just want to hear what you have to say. So they're trying to corrupt our ability to manifest. But, and I'll just throw this out there, with the COVID-19, it kind of backfired. Could everybody stayed home and they all went inside and they all started to get in touch with the divine. So I think that's really interesting that happened.
That is interesting. Some people have, and some people are just hiding in their houses because they're afraid of the COVIDs.
That's true too.
Yeah.
A lot of people woke up because
there
of
are
this
a lot of people
situation. Yeah. So that's really cool. Okay.
I have high hopes for humanity because of that. Yes.
I do too, man. I'm thinking again, I feel like we're going to win. Okay. Now let's rewind a little bit. There's always a reset. And I want to understand this. I did understand that there was Tataria. I know, and you talk about the World's Fair. So I want to know about that. But every time there's a reset, why is it? Because we start to figure it out?
I think so. I think every 100 years, they literally reset society with the same. How the saying, "There's nothing new under the sun."
Right.
Well, in 1920, what did we have? Everyone was wearing face diapers. Everybody was getting this thing, and everybody died. Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating, right?
Isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that happens every 100 years. In 1820, I think it was cholera. Or one of those, and then 17, it just goes back, 1720, 1820, 1920. It's the
Every
same
100
thing.
years, yeah.
Every 100 years, it's the same thing, apparently. Again, but what I say is anything before 1900, we don't know. Now, when you look into Tartaria, if you hit that Tartaria button, you'll see these buildings that we couldn't build today, right? But we have to believe people with horses and buggies did it back then in the middle of nowhere. Nonsense. All of our history is a lie. The Wild West was a lie. All of it was a lie. San Francisco was here. Our Capitol building was here before Christopher Columbus discovered America. There's another building underneath it. Have you seen that?
No.
Under our Capitol building, there's a building with pillars underneath it. Okay. Yeah, and there's so much. Now, in the app under the web button on that Tartaria page, the center button, the lost history of flat Earth. 5 hours. The first video is 5 hours. I'm not watching a 5-hour video, right? But then one night at 11 p.m., I was doing some stuff and I was looking for something to listen to while I did it. I was like, let me just throw this on for 10 minutes. 4 a.m., I finally was like,
I watched it too.
I watched the whole thing.
Me too.
And then I couldn't sleep. I'm like, oh my God.
I know. Hey, we got to go to commercial break. This is Nancy Yearout. I'm here today with Dave Weiss. This is High Road to Humanity. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. I'm here with Dave Weiss. Dave, I do understand the whole flat Earth situation and why they want to keep us, I don't know, dumbed down, I guess is the word for it. But I think people have woken up. You also talk about the World's Fair. Touch on that. I didn't know what that was about. What is that? Yeah,
about? So I had was interviewing. Have you seen my interview with Ruth?
No.
So I was down. My mother was in an elderly facility where she lived, and she was taking a nap, and I asked the nurse. I said, "Hey, is there anyone over 100 years old that has their wits?" They're like, "Oh, Ruth, right over here. She's sitting at this table." And so I went and I interviewed Ruth about the World's Fairs. Right? She had been to the World's Fairs in New York as a child, and she was telling me how they were lit up. It's the first time she saw electric lights and all of this stuff. And then her memory was so good. I said, "What do you think? What did they teach you in school about the Earth?" And she goes, "They taught me the Earth was flat when she was in elementary school in public school in Hamden, Connecticut." We found other teachers, other people. Another woman close to 100 years old said in Croatia in the 1930s they taught flat Earth everywhere, and we found newspaper articles about teachers being persecuted for trying to teach heliocentrism in the 1930s and 40s. Okay, so this is a recent change. The whole story of the Greeks figuring it out, nonsense. Okay. So the whole Aristophanes story, we can get into that, but again, in the app you can find the Aristophanes videos just showing how that doesn't make any sense. So the World's Fairs were these buildings were here from the previous world, and they had these fairs, and then they destroyed these buildings. One of the buildings in the San Francisco World's Fair was so big you could fly an airplane in it. We couldn't build that today. And
Why did they destroy them?
Because they had to destroy it for the narrative. The evil people that have literally taken over this world, the Satanists that are running this world, and it's way worse than you and I can even imagine. They destroyed everything, right? But there's still so much evidence. Everywhere you go, there's Tartarian buildings. Just look at the old churches and these old buildings and stuff, and find out when they were supposedly built. And it's like, why would a low populated area, with no money and no electric, tools, they're building these incredible domes and towers and stuff. It's all antiquitech, free energy technology.
Right. Well, that's what I want to talk about really quick. As you're talking about the buildings in Tartaria, of course, that was the major thing. If people haven't watched it, the buildings were, and I want to explain this so people understand, the buildings were built with antennas. And then there was also a water feature. Okay. So it was a combination of water and electric, basically, and how it was all
energy, right?
Yeah, sharing energy. And so the whole world had free energy. And that is what's so amazing about this. Now, I really believe, and I just want to know your feeling on this, Dave. I really think that can come back because it was crystals, because it was powered by crystals. The generators were powered by crystals, water. So it was crystals, water, and then the towers, because they were able to tap into the ether.
Absolutely. And that energy, that stuff is here today. Tesla supposedly powered the World's Fairs with free energy. And then they're like, oh, no, you can't do that. We have to bill the people for that. And they destroyed Tesla. And, JP Morgan had a corner on the market on copper wire. But about the water technology, I just added a video today to that tutorial list. It's the top video on the list at the time of this recording by Autodidactic, an awesome channel that dives into Tataria, has panel discussions. Great channel. That also John Levy, Jonlevi, 2 words, John Levy. I encourage anybody to just start watching his stuff. He's got 20-minute video every week. Does a 20-minute video. Fantastic stuff. And once you start going down that hole, then you could start seeing the world for what it is. And you literally take your power back. Because before I knew all of this stuff, I was pretty much an atheist, right? I believed in that. I evolved from pond scum. It makes perfect sense. My eyes that are seeing incredible things and translating it all, that's just the mutations from pond scum. It makes perfect sense. And that we're flying through an infinite universe, and somehow the stars reset every year, even though we're traveling billions of miles into different locations, but none of the stars ever cause any parallax because they're so far away, right? Nonsense. All of this stuff is complete and total nonsense. So then when I discovered this flat earth, I'm like, wait a minute, a Big Bang, this is intelligently designed, and therefore there's a creator. And I'm like, damn, there's a creator. That means there's a creator. And
right.
Now this is where I draw the line. It's your journey from there on. Whatever the creator is to you, that's your journey. And nobody's journey to tell you what the creator is. They could show you how they have a relationship with their creator. Awesome. Enjoy your relationship with the creator. Maybe mine will be similar. Maybe mine will be different.
Right.
You be you.
Yeah,
you be you. I'll be me. And
I love it.
So there is and again, I'm going to memorize this in the Bible. There is a verse in the Bible that says, once you see my creation, meaning the earth, you no longer have any excuse to deny my existence. And that is true. Like, I denied the creator most of my life. But when I saw the flat earth, I no longer, no matter what, could deny a creator. Now, you could say, oh, the creator's aliens, the creator's this, the creator's that, the creator, whatever. Fine, that's your journey. But there's a creator. Right. And so use your logical thinking and kind of understand that the creator, I think that we are all part of the creator. We're all part of this earth system.
Right.
The currency of this world is souls, right? Just how I showed you the sun arcs around us in the Arctic and Antarctica around us, away from us, towards us and away from us in the Antarctic. Well, the where was I going with that? I had a great analogy.
The soul.
The souls is the currency of this world, right? Souls are the most valuable thing in this world, and those evil ones want our souls, either because they lost their souls or they're just soul hoarders or whatever. And you know how they try to lure your soul away?
Yeah, they want our energy. I think
they want our
energy, Dave.
What do they use to lure your soul away?
Evil.
The soul lure system. The solar system.
Oh, listen
the soul
to you.
lure system.
Listen to you.
Right? Words, the biggest weapons are the words that come out of our mouths, the spelling.
Right, that's right.
So our words are powerful. They don't want us to know this. Signs and symbols rule the world, okay? And then the words that we use, is the whipped cream on it or whatever. I don't know how to explain that best.
No, Dave, you're absolutely right. And I tell everybody that it's your words, your thoughts, and your emotions that create our reality. Yes.
And when you and I are looking at each other right now,
yes.
right? Imagine if we were looking at each other like this the whole time and I had a face diaper on, and besides my voice being muffled, you couldn't see my micro expressions. This interview would suck, okay? It would suck. Excuse my language. All right? Because when you're talking to somebody, the micro expressions on your face, the slight little movements of your cheek and your mouth and everything, that's what's communicating, right? And when you're near somebody, the energy exchange, right? They're trying to take all of that away from us. They're trying to separate us so we can't even get within each other's local heart field. They're trying to stop us from manifesting far thoughts because there is no far thoughts. We live on a globe, right? They're trying to make us live in fear when we live in abundance, when we live in a world that has endless possibilities, endless water, endless food, endless energy, endless everything, and plenty of room.
Right. Because our creator put it here for us.
It's all here, and we have some crazy psychopaths that are trying to maintain control of the entire thing.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I think it's wonderful. You know, it's interesting because I wrote a book like 6 years ago trying to tell people the energy of your words and your thoughts and how we could manifest. And I learned that we could manifest. And it's interesting if we just start to pay attention and wake up. That's the biggest thing. Start to pay attention to what's going on and use your gut. I think people don't use their own intuition enough. What do you think,
Right.
Dave?
100%. There, your gut brain is telling you what's going to happen in the near future, right?
Right.
Your brain, you're sorting all this stuff out. You have to trust that this world, there is know what the biggest conspiracy, the biggest conspiracy of the world is the world is conspiring to fulfill your every thought. Okay, good or bad, you are attracting that. Your thoughts are magnetic. Your thoughts are energetic, and they pull in the things that you're thinking about into your life. You are your biggest enemy, right? You are the reason things don't manifest in your life because you're stopping them, right? And it's, if you watch the news, I say, and this is pretty harsh, don't watch the news. It will give you cancer. Okay.
True,
if you
true.
if you watch the news,
Yeah.
I mean, I once a year I turn it on for 5 minutes, and I don't even think I make it through the 5 minutes. I'm like, this is horrible. I literally feel sick
Right.
when you turn it on. So again, this world with what's going on right now, it could drive people insane. You have to experience all of these things. And don't wait for the result to be happy. You have to be happy along the way. You have to allow yourself to have put the feeling in front of the request, right? Don't put the cart in front of the horse. Absolutely. Put the cart in front of the horse, right? Because you already have it. You already have it. You just have to allow it to manifest into your world.
Right. What do you see happening? What's your, I predict 2023, things are going to be completely different. I see a lot of people waking up. I see God winning on this one because I know he wants us to wake up and connect with him. What do you feel like is going to happen in the next couple of years?
I think that there's a huge intelligence test going on right now, a huge test in faith, and that there's going to be some crazy mayhem in the next 18 months,
Yes.
beyond what, again, I keep saying it's beyond what even the people that are waking awake.
I think I lost him there for a second. Dave, are you there? Hello. Oh, I hate that I lose him here for a minute, you guys, because this is such a great show. We'll wait and see if he comes back.
People are generally good. People don't go around mass killing each other. Okay. It's not something that happens, but they've trained us in movies. Nothing like it's like right now.
Hey,
And
Dave, we lost you. We just lost you for like a couple
Did you?
minutes there. Yeah.
Oh,
and
really?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened. But can you go back?
I don't know how far back I
I
was
don't know how
going.
far back you could go, but we lost you there for a second. But
Where did you lose me?
I don't know. I'll have to cut this. I'll have to cut the video. But you believe that, like you were telling us that you believe that something crazy is going to happen in the next 18 months. I do too, but I think
Yeah.
it's going to be a good crazy. And
Yeah.
I think it's time. I don't know what's going to happen to the people who don't wake up, but I know that the people who are connected to God, like you, like me, that we will raise our vibration and we will live a happy, joyful life, which is how we're supposed to live. Don't you agree?
100%. I mean, there's nothing to be afraid of, right? We chose to be here during this time. And I'm like, great. I do love roller coasters and puzzles. Well, I live on a roller coaster and a puzzle, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
so the last 2 years have probably been like the best years of my life.
Yeah.
I've been having a great time during this insanity that's going on. So
Right.
let's raise the vibration of everybody and end the insanity. It's over. It's
Right.
over.
Right. Hey, I just want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you for doing your app. Tell everybody, about your podcast. Sell yourself a little bit, Dave. Give them some information.
So the easiest place that you can remember because the name of the app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, it took Owen Benjamin a year and a half to memorize the name, and he still hasn't gotten it right. flatearthdave.com. That'll take you to my website. My podcast is there. You can find links to the app there. If you're going to get the app, make sure Android, they have a Flat Earth Society by the Ron Media Group. That's not my app. They stole the name. They stole the graphics. It's horrible. Don't send me an email telling me my app sucks, because that's not my app. All right. So mine is by Blue Water Bay. If you're confused, just scan this QR code or just go to flatearthdave.com. Follow the links there. The app is $3. It's amazing. You get everything. There's a subscription if you want to be able to send messages to other users, right? But before I had the friend finder on it, everybody loved it. People subscribed, which got you nothing. People subscribed just to support the app. But now you get the friend finder, and it's $11 for the year. So you don't have to do that. I tell people, don't do that. Just watch the videos, use the resources. If you want to find other flat earthers around you, you can figure out a way. You can figure out who they are. You can figure out where they are, and do it.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it.
I really appreciate you.
My YouTube channel is the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Short videos, DITRH. They're also linked in the app under the DITRH button. But 5 minutes is a documentary for me. I have nice short videos that will really suck you in.
That's awesome. I'm really glad you did this. And I think it's phenomenal that you've dedicated your life to doing this. I mean, you're helping humanity. You really are.
I feel that I am. Yeah. I get a lot of messages from a lot of people, how I've changed their life. Yeah. And I've changed my own life along the way. So anybody that's in the southern part of the East Coast, October Flattoberfest. We're having a 2-day music and conference festival. It's October 22nd and 23rd, I think. Okay. FlatEarthFestivals.com. It's also linked in the app. You'll find it in there. But it's going to be amazing. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of us, like-minded people, unmasked, having a great time.
I love it. I love it. Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Hey, you guys, if you need a psychic reading, go to my website, nancyyearout.com. Just click on the book button. Remember to watch News with Nancy on Sundays. And I've got a new situation going on my website. If you want to have the VIP membership, there's all kinds of cool videos that I have on there now, teaching you guys how to manifest, teaching you guys how to connect with the divine. And so check that out. It's $5.99. See, I'm a little bit pricier than you over here, Dave.
There you go.
Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for joining us today. This is Nancy Yearout. This is High Road to Humanity. See you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Connect the dots and keep the motion. Can achieve your goal. Let's hit the high road.
Hey, you guys, join me next week on The High Road for more stories filled with wisdom, love, and hope for our future. Have a fabulous week, and know that by staying on the high road, you will make it to your destination. Visit my website, nancyyearout.com, where you can book a private session to learn how to tap into your own abilities. And check out my YouTube channel. It's Nancy Yearout's High Road to Humanity.
You can achieve your goal.